Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the On the Map Challenge on Alma, Missouri. Today is October 3rd, and it is just past 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we are drilling some winter wheat today. I just had to stop and get another load because I'm about slap out. We've been working non-stop through October now that harvest is kind of coming to an end. We've been doing plenty of tillage, and now we're following up with some winter wheat because we're going to double crop this coming summer, I guess. We're going to get the wheat off in June and plant soybeans right behind that. We're going to have two crops in one season, and we're doing that by getting an early start on drilling wheat. So I had to call Todd down here. He's out chiseling this morning, but I called him down and said, hey, I need a load of seed. So he has shown up in record time. I'm going to get the drill filled back up, and we'll just go ahead and get right started back to what we were doing. I've been out here for probably an hour, and I got 2 headland passes done. Then I ran out, so I had to wait on him to get here. But as soon as we get this filled up, which is looking like it's not going to take very long now that we've got these nice big pro boxes for seed, we're going to bust these rows out, and we're going to head on down to the next field because we've got 3 fields to get to, I do believe. And then later on we've got some corn we need to harvest. I guess we'll get to that in probably November since it's not ready yet and it's still October 3rd. And then last but not least, we've even got to spread a little bit of lime as per usual and do some tillage. And then I guess that's basically all of our fall work done. We're getting a very nice lead on it by doing this, so we're staying very busy. So you know what, without further ado, I just say we get right into the field work because there is a lot for us to do. Alright, well, it's just that time of year again where we're super busy on the farm. You know, I guess I really could say that about any time of the year, but fall is usually our busiest in terms of how much we can get done in 1 month. Because usually, as soon as the clock hits October, we're in the field and trying to get out of the field as fast as we can, and that means harvest, drilling wheat, cultivating, doing deeper tillage, and spreading lime, all that good stuff. And we don't like to wait until springtime to do our tillage because we've got so much planting on our hands. I mean, we have an 8-row planter for crying out loud, so we try to get everything done in 1 month, and it's a lot of chaos, but it's also pretty fun because sometimes when you've got hired hands around the farm, you can sit back and do something like drilling while everybody else takes care of the plowing and stuff. So that's exactly what we're doing today. Todd has already gone back to the farm. He's going to hop back in the driver's seat of the 8300. He's going to head uptown. He's got another field he's going to take care of. And then I think that's all of the plowing done until we get to that 1 field of corn at our farm. So we're looking actually really good. And as of right now, I'm going to hit 1 more pass around the field. I just kind of realized how awkward this drill is to turn around, and there's a lot of tree lines around this field, so it kind of would just help out to have a little more space to turn around, so wouldn't hurt anything. And then we've got an entire field to get to times 2, so this is just the start. We've been prepping the drill all morning. We had a leak in one of the hoses. It was like just dropping seed on the ground, so we replaced the entire hose line, which took ages, but we got it fixed. We're not even running any fertilizer in the box. We're just simply drilling wheat, and we'll get to fertilizer later on. The only thing I didn't do before I left the farmyard was fill this tractor up with diesel, so hopefully we've got enough to finish out this field. This tractor doesn't really like to drain through fuel that much, so we'll see how it goes. And ever since I got the GPS to work in this tractor, so long are the days of the row marker. So we are just using GPS. We've got it going right now, and we are getting a perfect line going around the field. And a lot of our field work did get done kind of off camera, but I did also stream this past week, and we did a lot of tillage during the live stream as well. So we've just kind of jump cut from harvest straight into this, but don't worry, there's going to be plenty of plowing action on the way. And to be honest with you, I will probably be in the driver's seat of the tillage tractor as well. We did have the disc hooked up to this tractor. We were finishing out some fields with the disc, and then we also picked up some rocks which I had to turn Fieldstone off because rocks are just too annoying. We don't have. I'm tired of fooling with rocks on Farming Simulator. That's the biggest thing. In the live stream, I was showing off a rock picker we had rented, and after leaving the dude on course play for what seemed like forever, I think it was like 4 hours for one field to pick rocks. Yeah, I'm not doing that again. So I just turned off Fieldstone. That's the only thing we've got turned off in the menu. You can see some spots that it missed, but we got all of our fields that had rocks on them picked, so I can stop getting comments about the rocks. There's no rocks except for the few that were missed right here that I'm starting to see a lot of. So yeah, we're kind of nailing it. I mean, we got $70,000 in our bank account, and we're going to save it all for this coming winter because whenever we sell our corn, which we have so much to sell, I don't think you guys are even ready to see how much money we're going to make off a corn sale. Hopefully we're going to have just a bunch saved up, and we'll be able to buy plenty of new fields and equipment. I think I did touch on this already in the last episode, and I'm already eyeing up some bigger tractors and bigger planters and cultivation equipment, so we're going to need every penny. And I was even debating on taking out another loan for year 3 so that we can buy some more fields, like spend a bunch of money on equipment as well as fields. That's probably my biggest priority right now is acres, because we're doing just fine with what equipment we have right now, except for that 8-row planter. That's a little bit slow, but you know, I'd figure out a loan and we'd have even more acres on top of everything we'd buy during winter, because I've got 3 fields I'm looking at right now, 2 of which are hands down the best deals I think I've ever seen in this game. I've got to have them in year 3 or year 4. I cannot go another year in this game without buying them. They're too good to be true. I mean, they're bigger than all the other fields we've got right now, and the yield map is incredible, which means that we won't have to do much to the fields at all. We'll just kind of be able to sit back and put a little bit of fertilizer on them every once in a while, and the yields are already good on the field, so we don't have to tend to them as much as we do a field like this one right here, which is kind of touchy with the crops and everything. At least I'm pretty sure that's how that works. You don't have to be so strict on how you do the fields if they're better yielding when you first buy them out. Yeah, always one of my favorite times of the year, whenever you get harvest finished out and you can see how much crop you've got in, and then whenever it comes time to sell it all, just that final added price from everything is so satisfying to see. It's honestly one of my favorite times of the year. And then on the cattle side of things, our herd is growing tremendously fast. Whenever these calves we've got right now kind of grow up and the heifers we've got give birth, we're going to have almost 70 head of cattle, which is ridiculous since we started with about 30 when we bought the farm, and in the span of 2 years we've already gained 40 more head of cattle. Well, it's not actually 70, it's probably going to be a little less, maybe about 63, 64, but it's close enough, and 70 sounds cooler if you ask me. So yeah, I think I've already mentioned my plan about building a little finishing barn. That is also a go. We've got somebody contracting to come and clean up all that junk, and then the Amish are going to come and they're going to put up a building for us, and we're going to be able to put our cattle in there whenever we sell them off, and I think it'll be worth our while. So we're also going to invest in a grinder and give them some cornmeal, sweet feed, that sort of thing, fatten them up, sell them off, and the cattle business is also going to be bringing in a ton of money. This on the map challenge is going extremely smooth. I mean, we are just very profitable compared to the last time around. We are doing things right this time, and it's going a lot better if you ask me. I think we're really making it work compared to last time. One thing that I have not looked at though is like a field roller, because almost every single field we own says that it needs to be rolled, and I mean that's something that I just don't ever see a lot around, you know, where I live. People really just plant their fields and they leave it at that. They don't really roll out their fields. But I know up north, especially in like the Dakotas, maybe even into like Canada, I think that's really common up in that area to just have like a huge field roller and roll out your fields, and that's how the game wants you to do it as well, to maximize yield. So there's 2 ways I could do that. I mean, I could just buy a field roller like I had in Farm Sim 22 and roll my fields out, which was a little time consuming unless I just had a big one. I mean, I've got a few decent sized ones in here, but I don't think any of the tractors I've got right now will pull them. Or I could buy a crumbler that goes behind a cultivator, and it kind of acts as the same thing. It just rolls the field out. You know, it doesn't actually do that in real life. It just kind of smoothens it out, but in the game it acts as a roller, which will maximize yield. So I'm not real sure. I'm going to have to keep thinking on that one because I'm not totally sure what to do there. And also, one more thing that's going to be changing at the end of year 2 into year 3 is we're going to be getting rid of the square baler. I know that's probably something some of you may not want to see go, but baling straw with a little square baler is just a little bit annoying and time consuming, and all those bales just want to fall over in the shed, and it's just really bothering me, especially when we've got a perfectly fine round baler that can do the same work. I mean, I know we've got a wagon for the square baler, but it's just more convenient to round bale it. I'm not sure, but that's more than likely what we're going to do. We're just going to sell it off. I'm probably looking at a decent size, like yard sale, farmer auction, whatever you call that, where you sell off a bunch of your equipment, and that's probably something we're going to see go this year, which I do like square baling, but whenever we've got an operation the size that we do, it's just not very feasible. So we're going to be getting rid of that as well. And for whatever reason, the calf barn we've got right now anyway, that is the reason I bought the small square baler. It doesn't even take straw for some reason, so we've put like 3 bales in there, and now it doesn't require any more. So I'm not really sure. I guess we'll need straw whenever we get the feedlot going, but as of right now we don't need any, so we're probably just going to sell the bales we've got right now and get rid of the baler as well. So yeah, I have a lot on the year 3 agenda. I just hope we're going to be able to pull all of it or most of it off. I mean, if we can't, it's no big deal. We've always got plenty of time in the future, especially year 4. I feel like that's going to be an even more profitable year than 3. I mean, every single year that passes by, the profit seems to almost want to double. So yeah, there's no slowing us down. That's the main thing. We're doing really nice. And so yeah, think I'm going to finish the rest of this field off camera, and then I will meet back up with you all whenever we get to the next field. This one's probably not going to take too awful long, because even though this drill does look kind of small, it is very mighty. So we're going to knock this out in no time. I'm thinking we'll more than likely be at the next field around 4 o'clock, so it'll be kind of later in the afternoon. Sun might be setting. It'll be a little dark. But yeah, just 2 fields we've got to do in winter wheat. I said 3. It's just 2. I was wrong. So we're just kind of doing these fields to test out how it's going to work, and then if it does really, really well for us, we will double crop a lot more often and a lot more in year 4. So year 3 is a test year. That's how me and Todd kind of want to do it. I might have already mentioned this. If I did, I'm sorry, but we're going to just figure out how we're going to do it in year 3. And obviously we're planting the wheat right now. We're going to harvest it in June and plant soybeans behind the wheat, immediately after, and then that'll give us 2 crops in one growing season, 2 crops to harvest 1 year, whatever. I am a little skeptical for like yield reasons and stuff, because I've heard that it'll mess with your precision farming and stuff doing it, and I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to actually do it with how the crop calendar is set up in here. But according to everything I've seen, it looks like it's going to line up just about perfectly in the game. So we're going to try it and see how it does, and then that's where year 3 is going to come in year 4. More than likely we're going to like it and do this a lot more often. So that's the plan. And I also need to put some diesel in this tractor so that it'll stop beeping at me, because that is just really bothering me. So yeah, I'll catch you all in just a little bit. Alrighty, so we are now in the next field. We got that last one finished up, and it is now 4 o'clock like I promised it would be. It's one of the first times I've actually gotten the estimated time to finish the field right. I think I said that we'd get that field done at about 4 o'clock, and it's 4:20 right now, so we're starting the next one about the time that I said we would. But obviously I did have to run home, and we put 2 more pallets worth of seed in the drill, which is probably not going to be enough to finish this field, but hey, we're half full in the drill box, so we're going to put as much as we can out, and if we have to buy more, we will. And then I also put some diesel in the tractor as well. So yeah, we are just ready to rock and roll, and we are getting right to it, because obviously you guys know we're on a time crunch here to get this wheat drilled, since October is the last month to do it, with how we are doing the double cropping. So I explained that in the last field, so I won't get back into that. And regardless, I think we're going to be working into the night tonight, because there's no way we can get this done before the sun sets. These days are getting shorter as we progress further into the year, so with it being October, the days are about 2 hours cut short, so the sun fully sets at about 6 o'clock, I think, or somewhere in there. But it's alright, we've got plenty of lights on this tractor to keep it lit. It's just, I do get kind of tired working into the night, so we're going to try and get as much as we can done before the sun does set. And I don't know if I mentioned this in the last field, but I just now kind of noticed that it is 75 degrees outside. I knew it was kind of warm. It's a little bit humid, but for the most part, that's a really nice temp for October 3rd. It is really warm outside, and that is probably going to help this stuff take off. I could be wrong, but if the temperatures continue to stay this warm, I feel like this wheat is going to grow and mature faster than it did the previous year. Obviously it's going to have to go through the winter time, but that kind of cancels out what I said. But either way, that's a nice warm 75 degrees. That's nothing to complain about. Which, to be honest with you, I don't know if that's how it's been throughout all of October. I don't really remember it being this warm, but I just figured it'd be a little cooler outside with it being almost November. So I don't know, that's kind of weird to me, but it is Missouri on the map, so we've had some very strange temperature changes throughout the year. We've even had it be 20 degrees here and not snow at all. So yeah, I'm not real sure anymore. It's just whatever. Yeah, I'm not complaining. I do enjoy the warmer weather, so as long as it can stick around, that's fine with me. And something else that I was just thinking about, because we've never had wheat on this field, or actually the one we just drilled in wheat, the last field, they've always been corn or soybeans, especially this one. They've never had wheat on, and with the previous crop being corn, my hope is that planting wheat will replenish the nitrogen, and when it comes time to harvest this stuff in June or whenever it's ready, we will have a crazy good looking yield across the board because we've done the crop rotation the correct way like I wanted to. And I think we're looking at upwards of 110% yield across the field, the whole thing, not even in spots where the soil's kind of poor. That's my hope, is just across everywhere. The only way to really know is just to kind of wait until it's time to harvest and see if I'm right. But we can do soil tests and get soil samples and stuff, but seriously, I think we're going to have a decent yield. And then whenever we plant soybeans on top of the wheat stubble, we'll fix the nitrogen values and everything as well, and maybe it will give us an even better yield on top of the wheat and corn. I highly doubt it. It might be the same or worse. I don't think it'll be better, but we shall see. That's why I'm doing all this, is to try and figure out what crops work the best and how we can set up a really nice crop rotation that gives us the most amount of bang for our buck, I suppose, because we're spending a ton of money on seeds, so it'd be worth our while to find some crop rotation that gives us so much money. And what I mean by that is, every time you sell your crops and your environmental score is good and fixed right, which means you spray herbicide on your fields, get rid of weeds, you have the correct nitrogen value, you fix your soil's pH, you plant the right crop on the right soil, your environmental score will go up. And right now ours is, give me 1 second, 84. So it continues to go up, and I think it's going to go up again whenever we harvest this field of corn. Obviously that's not the right yield map, but it's going to go up again. The only reason it's kind of held back is because, I already talked about that, we let our fields of wheat go after we harvested them. There's just a bunch of weeds in there. But regardless, the environmental score gives you a bonus when you sell grain, and so no matter how much money you make from just selling the crop, corn, wheat, soybeans, whatever you sell, you also make an extra bonus that's added to the total that you sell from your environmental score. I can't actually remember how much, it's like doubled or whatever, but you do make a decent little bit of money from your environmental score, so it's worth it. Now that's every time you sell. I think it's like $4,000 added every time you sell something with my environmental score that I've got right now. Obviously if I increase it, I'll get more money every time I sell something, but right now it's like $4,000 added to everything I sell, or it varies, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Whenever I sell my wagon load worth of grain, I get $4,000, something like that. I'm just kind of confusing myself, but it's something like that. It's decent, honestly. I mean, it could always be more, but for what it's worth, I'll take it all day long. And so that right there should be our headland passes. I do need to come out here and finish this part out, make it nice and even with the rest of our headlands. Like I said, doing 3 with this drill is always the method that you should use, since it's so hard to turn around with this, and especially because I've got dual wheels on this tractor, it wants a jackknife. So that and the tree line is just a very good reason to do 3 headlands. So yeah, now that we've got plenty of space to turn around, we'll pick everything up and we'll come down here, kind of split the field in half like I always do. We'll section it out, makes it a little easier, I think. I'll turn the drill back on and we will get right to work. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm gonna finish this field out as well. It's basically just same old, up and down the field, turning around, that sort of thing, which I guess that's how most of farming is anyway. But yeah, it's getting late in the afternoon. I'm gonna wrap this up, and yeah, I will catch you all tomorrow, which should be November 1st. And I believe we are going to get right into corn harvest, so that is something that I'm looking forward to. Or, well, finishing up corn harvest, I guess I should really say. So yeah, we're going to continue on with tillage. We'll have all of our wheat drilled, and we'll finish up corn harvest. So yeah, I'll see you all then. Alright, it's November 1st, and it's harvest time. Woke up this morning extremely excited to see how the field has turned out, so let's check it out, and sure enough, it's golden brown. Combine is very eager to head out to the field. But first things first, we are going to set the auger up. Since it's just me at the farm right now, we're going to try and do as much as we can while we wait on Todd. But yeah, this is looking great, and it is absolutely ready to harvest. So yeah, let's just go ahead and set up the auger. We'll just get right into this one. We got all the wheat drilled last night. Give you an update. We had to buy one more pallet of seed. Of course we did. So we stopped, hooked back up to the wagon, drove down to the feed store. We grabbed some, I guess it was just a single pallet of Pioneer seed, hybrid seed, whatever it is, that we've been getting. We got the same one, filled the drill up about halfway, and we used almost all of it. So 2 fields of wheat are now drilled and done, and they should be all ready for the growing season, looks to me like. Need to back this auger up without running right into the bin like I just did. And I also don't even remember which one of these 3 we need to fill up. I think it's this end one. Yes, it is. Okay, so we're going to have to do a lot of maneuvering. I'm not very good at putting the auger over top of the bin. Todd is usually the one that does it because I am no good at it. So hopefully I won't screw this up too bad, but I'm sure it's going to be a painful watch here. I think it'd probably help if we raised the end of it up just a little bit, and we'll swing it in here about like that. Actually, you know what? I think I did that pretty good first try. Let me lower it down just a little bit more. Yeah, you know what? I think we did that decent first try. So now we got to find the hookup over here for it. And just like that, we are all set. So I will lower the loader down and we'll turn it off. And I guess now that the auger is set up, we can go and grab, let's see, we need the combine, but the wagons as well. You know what? I think we'll just fill the wagons up right there, and then when they're full, we'll bring them to the auger. We're right here at the bin, so we can do this a little bit differently than how we do when we're out at the field. What I mean by that is we can be a little more lenient with how we dump grain. We don't have to just have something parked at the edge of the field. We can actually park it right here up next to the spout and just bring the full combine load over here. But I don't know, since this field is kind of decent size, we might need to get Todd down here at some point, which I'll give him a call here in just a second, let him know we're harvesting corn so he can come down here and help out. Now if the head is on, we can back up over here. Try not to hit the building. Holy cow, like a bull in a china shop this morning when it comes to equipment. I'm just running into everything. But alright, without further ado, let's turn the yield map on so I can kind of see, get an idea of what it's looking like. And so far, so good. Maybe. I'm not really sure. That kind of looks like worse yield to me. You know what? It's actually kind of hard to tell. I don't really know if this was a good thing or a bad thing, really, to plant corn on the hayfield. I mean, it's looking kind of interesting in the yield map so far. I won't say it was a bad idea yet. Let's keep on trucking and we'll see what the yields are looking like, but right now we're at 80%. I mean, that's nowhere near what I thought it would be. Haven't had a single bit of green yet. It's been orange and yellow, which I guess that's not the worst, but that's not great. So maybe when we get around here to this bottom part of the field, it'll be a little better. But we are already 20% full, so that's something to brag about for sure. Either way, yeah, it looks like we're going to have to do a little bit of field maintenance to get the yield back up, because we were getting better numbers when we had hay here. I mean, it's still not bad at all, but could be a whole lot better. Trust me, this yield thing, you can make it go crazy good. And I know we're just starting out the field, but I'm going to give the yield map about let's say a 7 out of 10. I think that's probably a good idea, is to rate it a 7 out of 10 in terms of like how good it is so far. Which down here in this corner, it is a little better. Okay, so maybe I should just kind of let the field do the talking instead of me, because I don't know, this could end up being a whole lot better than it is right now, but I'm not really sure. And I mean literally just like a hair better with the corn on here than we were getting with wheat, or grass, sorry. So I'll oh man, that's not good though. So this in here is a dark red. Okay, maybe we should leave the yield map open for a little longer than I was wanting to. I'm kind of curious now. Well, I'm not really sure. I'd say this in here where I'm harvesting right now is a touch better than it was when we had hay on it. But yeah, we need to work on liming this field as well. That's something we never did before we put corn here. So it needs lime right now, and a few other things. Like I said, little field maintenance. We can obviously make this field a whole lot better in the next coming years. Even by year 3, this field should be up and running just as good as the others. But as it goes right now, a little bit lackluster. So it's not the end of the world, because we are still getting a ton of corn off of this field. I mean, we're going to be full by the time we get around to the bins over there. But I'm not sure. We'll have to finish the field out and then do a final review. But I think that 7 out of 10 rating is still holding up compared to the 9 out of 10 I gave that other field. This is a little worse, but I think it was worth experimenting with, and like I said multiple times, we can always fix it in the years to come. So actually, before I do make another pass around the field, I'm going to come over here and dump, just so I am not full halfway around the field, and then I'll make one more headland pass, follow the planter lines, because we did 2 headland passes with the planter, or I think we actually might have done 3. I'm not really sure actually. You know what, I think we did do 3, now that I kind of sit and think about it. So yeah, 2 or 3 headland passes, whatever I figure out. I can't really remember back to planting season, but it was something like that. And then just like that, we'll get right back to it. So in other news, we've got a little something that's going to happen in the next, I guess, month or so. I'm sure I've already talked about this, but I don't know if I gave you guys an exact date. We've got somebody coming to clean up the junk bales and stuff on our farm. They're just going to bring a big old roll-off container and a bunch of machinery, and they're just going to clean up a lot of the junk we've got laying around the farm. For example, the junk bales and stuff, they're just going to send them off on a dump truck or something, get rid of them. I figured we could like give them away to a farmer or something, but there's really no reason to. They're like really rotten. So we just decided to just clean every bit of that out, throw it all away, and we're going to grade that area right there, flatten it out, and then obviously we're putting the barn with the cattle there. So that's going to be happening in the winter, but in the next month or so they're going to be coming to clean all that out. So hopefully we'll see some footage of that, and then whenever they finish all that out, we get the plans to make the building and the feedlot and everything right there. We're also going to be receiving a load of gravel to make some more road beds through there, instead of it just being dirt and grass and everything. And they were going to put a little pathway between the 2 buildings and out to the driveway, and just some other little details like that. I figured I'd just kind of mention it, because we are still working towards that, and it is kind of one big eyesore to look at all those chunk bales and just crap laying over there next to that building. So do not worry, we're going to be cleaning that up really soon. I think I mentioned that we were going to get it all up, but I didn't know a time frame, like if I gave you guys a time frame for when we were going to get it all cleaned up. But yeah, and if you don't know what I'm talking about that right there where my cursor is, in the middle of my screen. All that junk is going to be out of here, and it'll hopefully make the farm look a little more professional, I'd say. Definitely a whole lot more tidy, that's for sure. And Todd did just send me a message. He's on his way to the farm, which means he'll be here in the next 5 or so minutes. And so that kind of sounds to me like we're going to get the ball rolling on harvesting today. And even better, I think we should go ahead and finish this field out in style with a little bit of a time lapse. And I'm going to unload one last time before Todd gets here. I mean, I'm really just kind of guessing that we're going to put the wagons next to the bin, so we don't really need Todd at the farm, but it'd be nice to have a little bit of just extra help in case something goes wrong, which so far so good. But unless he's going to be carting me around the field, I'm not really sure what he's going to be doing here. He does have lime to finish spreading. I will go and grab the 4250 in the shed. I put it up from last night. We'll just stick it on the wagons and drive them over there to the spout. And every time I get pretty full, I'll just drive over here to the farm, into the yard, and dump straight into the bin instead of having Todd worrying about unloading me. I think that'll be a little bit of a better thing to do. I think that's one of my better ideas. It's probably a little more convenient, especially since we can kind of multitask. So I will see you all in a little while. We're going to get this field knocked out, and I guess we can just go ahead and cue the time lapse. Okay, so just like that, it has been a few hours since we cut that field of corn. We've got everything parked around the yard. It's a pretty big mess right now, but we are officially done with harvest in year 2. Everything is now put up in the bins or sold, one of the two. And here is the aftermath of the cornfield. I'm sure that time lapse probably seems like we flew through this field. We really did. And the result of the field was honestly not great. I'm just going to put it that way. So we hop in the yield map here. You can see it is a little worse than some of our other fields. I mean, we're looking at, let me find it. Yeah, 80% yield, I think, was the average. When the other fields around here are like, the average is like 115, 100, 120. So yeah, we're just going to have to work on this field. Like I said, we're going to boost it with some lime and work on the soil, just like we've always done. You know, precision farming, how needy it is with stuff like that. So that's something else we're going to be working on today, actually right now, and I will get into that in just one second. So yeah, we've got all of the corn in the bins. I'll walk over here real quick and show you. So this bin right here is slap full, and this one has 77,000 liters in it. So it's, I guess, a little over halfway full. So we've got a bin and a half full of corn, if I'm doing that right. I think this one is a little less than half full, actually, but either way, we've got a bin and a half full of corn, and then that bin over there's got soybeans in it. So we're going to be selling the corn off in, I guess, a month or two. I'll look at prices as it gets closer to that time, but for right now, we've got a little ordeal on our hands. So first things first, I mentioned earlier that Todd was going to go out and spread lime. Well, he hooked up the spreader. We went to the store and we just used the wagon again since it was already hooked up to the truck. We bought, I guess it was 8 bags of lime, and you can see we did some sorting in the shop with the skid steer. So we've got that extra pallet of seed that we bought for the wheat, we've got our spare boxes of fertilizer, and then here's the rest of the lime. So I just kind of put them away in this corner. But the reason we're not using the Magnum, because the Magnum was hooked up to the spreader, and he got all the way down to the field to start spreading, and there's a fuel line busted on the Magnum. Yeah, not a great start to November. So it's in the shop here. Todd is currently at the parts store. He's going to pick up a few parts. We're going to have this thing serviced and back up and running. And we're also going to see if we can find some duals for this tractor as well, because I mentioned we were going to throw some duals on this, and it'd just be kind of nice to have. So we're also looking on Facebook Marketplace for some duals that we had seen a few weeks ago. We're going to pick those up and have them around the farm just in case we need them. But for right now, this is a haying tractor still, kinda. So yeah, that's the ordeal that's happened. Fuel line busted. The duals is just kind of extra information. Didn't have to add that in there, but yeah, that's that. So for now, we've got the 4250 hooked up to the spreader. We dropped the wagons off and put the auger up and all that good stuff after we got done with corn harvest. So we were just kind of waiting to finish that field to start spreading lime. And then last but not least, the combine's out here. It is very filthy, so we're going to pressure wash it and put it up for the winter time. Just get it all cleaned up and nice, and blow it out as well, because there's a lot of chaff and stuff still stuck on it. So we're going to do that, as well as the head is going to get the same treatment. But for right now, while Todd is not around, we are going to take over his position, and we are going to go through town and spread that first field of lime, because we're not really in as big of a hurry as we were to finish field work up. We are still on a time crunch, so we're just not going to waste any time, and we're going to head down there and start working, I guess. So yeah, really kind of unfortunate that the fuel line is messed up. I mean, I guess it's kind of a good thing, because that's one of our least used tractors. I'm kind of glad it didn't happen to the 4250 or the 8300 especially, because we're really going to need that tractor in the next couple days to finish up chisel plowing. But yeah, like I said, really unfortunate. It's going to suck to fix, especially since we're trying to save a bunch of our money to pay off that loan, and I really would like to do a bunch of upgrades into year 3. I've been talking about that for weeks now, so I really want to have as much money as I can. But hey, it's farming. You're going to spend it all the time for stuff you had no idea was going to happen. I guess I am pretty lucky to not have as much stuff to fix, though. I mean, that's really the only bad breakdown we've had happen in, I guess, a few months. So just kind of happy that we were able to get through harvest season without any major breakups, especially on the combine, with it being as old as it is. And if you are curious, we were driving all the way down to the soybean field first. I do like to just work opposite from the farm, so I usually drive out to the farthest field and work my way back towards the farmyard. I may have already mentioned that before, but that's usually my go-to of how I work on fields. So we're going to start all the way down here at this field of soybeans that was hit by a tornado. It needs lime pretty bad. The pH value is poor, very poor, because the people who own the field before us, it's been a few harvests actually since they've put any lime on the field, and you're supposed to every third harvest. So we bought a few bags just to have around the farm, and figured we'd spend a few right now to go ahead and boost the pH value in some of these fields. And then yeah, we also, we bought $7,000 worth of lime just to kind of have around the farm if we ever need to boost the pH of a new field in the springtime. And that was almost a court case right there, that guy pulling out in front of me. Alma traffic absolutely never disappoints, ever. I promise you guys it does not. Seems like every episode we've got some crazy driver. I mean, look at this, trying to pass on it. Oh my gosh, wow. Yeah, that was a first-hand witness. That is a crazy driver. Yeah, that was something. Okay, all right, well, anywho, we're basically at the field right now. Cannot believe I just witnessed that. That was kind of crazy. But yeah, just like our wheat fields, this field has kind of been let go since harvest with the weeds. I just happen to notice that every time we get crop off the field, the weeds really prevail. So it should fix itself whenever we plow it under, but for right now it is kind of hurting our economic score. So hopefully whenever we do bring the plow out here and start cultivating, that will get fixed and sort itself out. I'm sure we are going to absolutely burn through this, so I need to be very meticulous with how I spread this stuff out. It's not cheap, like I said, $7,000 worth of lime. We've got plenty sitting at the farm, but I would like to save some of it. We should be able to spread this entire field with this load of lime we've got right here. And if I open the map, you can see this is going to help the field out tremendously. At least that's the hope. We're obviously going to have to put nitrogen and stuff in the soil to help that value come up as well. But for right now, this is probably going to do a good deal of good on this field. Alright, now I'm going to turn up this way. We're going to use as much of this as we can. I'm even seeing some blue spots in the field, which is like the most, what's the word, like the maximum pH value you can have. So that's actually really nice to see. That means we'll probably be able to get away with 4 harvests off this field without having to put more lime on, which I guess it's also just the soil type, so it's nice to see either way, I guess. Well, we just burned through an entire load, and we still got this little strip of the field right here, so we'll probably fill back up. We'll come back down here for one more pass because we are kind of missing a good chunk of the field right there. So yeah, we'll fill up and we'll come back down here. Alrighty, well, check this out. We are in cab now. We're in the 8300. We're knocking out some tillage since all the lime is now spread. Finally, took us like 3 hours to get all that lime spread on the fields. Not actually, but it did take a good while. We had to keep coming back to the farm and refilling. I just decided to cut all those clips out because there was so much time spent off camera just coming back to the farm and refilling. We had to refill the spreader 3 times on this field, so we've basically burned through all of our bags of lime. We've got 2 left. We bought 6, or no, we bought 8. We burned through 6 of them. So that was just basically $7,000 down the drain. But either way, I'm sure that was not money lost. This is probably going to help that last field tremendously, and we'll just see what it does to this field. I'm sure it'll help it, but not as much because, like I said, or at least I think I said, we put lime on this field last year. So I don't know where that went, but apparently it wasn't enough or something, so yeah. But I did read all of your comments, and I see that a lot of people do want some more in-cab perspective in Farming Simulator. So you know what, I think I'll do a little bit of this video in cab as well, since I do like this tractor, or I like playing in cab in this tractor. Kind of had a missed opportunity to do some corn harvest in cab during the time lapse, but I don't know how that would look sped up, so I never did. But we can do a little in cab chiseling right now. Yeah, it's pretty late at night for me right now, so I'm kind of all over the place. I'm sure I sound kind of tired, but harvest and chiseling and everything, I got to get it done today, so we're working pretty hard to get this one out, and that's in real life. I'm up at 10:30 right now recording at night, which is usually kind of late for me, so if I sound tired, I'm kind of sorry about that. Just got back from vacation, so I'm trying to finish this video up for you guys. So yeah, now we'll go this way down the field because this seems like best thing to do, and then we'll tidy that side up right there to my right when we come back down the field. And man, I love the crap out of these skip rows. I think it is one of the most fun ways to do tillage, and it works. It works really well when you're turning around and stuff. And you know what? This tractor is absolutely filthy. The tires look like looks like Christmas, kinda. The snow is very white from all that lime dust. Go out of cab here for a second. You can see, yeah, we are really making a mess in this dusty field. Hopefully this stuff had time to kind of sink in the soil and what's the word? Kind of get in the ground, because we're just ripping it right up right after we spread lime out. So I think it'll be okay, but we'll see. I do need to give all these tractors a bath before we put them in the sheds for winter time. That's more than likely what we need to do anyway. So Todd is also back from the parts store. He's fixing the Magnum. I need to go and help him later in this afternoon, so he's just going to do a little bit of stuff right now, and I'll finish out working on the tractors later tonight whenever I get all this field chiseled up. And also that field of soybean ground does need to be plowed as well, so we're going to try and hit 2 birds with 1 stone today, and that is both of those fields. Chiseling does take a good bit of time since we've got a smaller plow, but we're going to try and get it done. We've got plenty of daylight left. And then whenever we get all these fields plowed up, we're also going to run the disc harrow over these fields to kind of smoothen it out, because you can see behind me it's very rough. That's what we like to do to get a very nice seed bed to plant into. So hopefully Todd will follow behind me and do that as well while I continue to chisel. That's the plan anyway. I need to give him a call because we have not really discussed what we're doing today. We've just kind of been all over the place since the Magnum broke down, because he was supposed to spread lime and I was supposed to follow behind him in the chisel plow, and then one of us was supposed to take over disking and then like swap places and stuff, just so he wouldn't be working all the time all night. Well, obviously that plan has changed since the tractor broke down, so we're trying really hard to get that fixed for wintertime, because you don't need to have a leaking tractor just sitting in the shed over winter. That's bound for trouble. So we're gonna fix it. Obviously, just wasn't really on the bucket list of to do stuff today or at all really. So that's kind of put us behind a little bit. And obviously, I had to do the lime spreading, and I was set to do the chisel plowing, but now I've had to do both. So I've just been all over the place. So is he. But that's what makes this job so fun, I guess. I mean, that's the only way to really put it. So, and also, while it is still November, let's talk a little bit about end of year stuff. So, we have a total of 253,000 liters of corn. Probably the most we've ever had at the start of year, like year 2, year 3, whatever. We've never had this much corn in a year. Early on, especially on the last On the Map challenge, we never would have touched anywhere near this much corn. So it's really awesome to see that. And so with that being said, we're going to try and sell in December, because that is when corn seems to peak the highest price. Obviously a great demand can change that. It'll sell in earlier December, later December. It obviously varies every year, but for right now it's looking like December 2nd is the peak price. And we're looking at almost $500 per 1,000 liters, or every liter, whatever it is. I can't remember. It's a lot of money. We're going to make so much dang money off of corn selling this year. And so with that being said, I know I've already talked about some of the stuff we can look forward to in year 3, but here is kind of my plan. I figure I would kind of give you guys an update, a little bit of what exactly is going to happen, because I've talked about what if and this could happen, but I've got a pretty good idea of what I want to see happen. So first things first, a lot of you have mentioned a planter upgrade. Yeah, we're going to be upgrading a planter. I immediately go to like a 12 row. That's more than likely what we're going to do. I don't think I can continue with an 8 row planter in year 3. So yeah, 12 row planter is a must. I've got one that I'm eyeing out that I think a lot of you guys are going to enjoy having around the farm. So that's number 1. Number 2 is a bigger tractor. This is not exactly something that is a must, but it would be kind of nice to have a 260 horsepower tractor on the farm. That is a very nice range where I would like to sit at. Now that I've done a little bit of thinking, because trust me, I have done a lot of note taking and just brainstorming off camera on what kind of tractor I would like to have on the farm past the 8300 in terms of horsepower. Also, I'm going to come back inside the cab because that white from the lime powder is it's very bright. The dust is extremely bright on this tractor. So yeah, anyway, bigger tractor, bigger planter. A second combine was talked about. I'm still kind of discussing with Todd on that, but there is a good looking combine. I already talked about that we're probably going to buy, so I'll leave that up in the air. And then maybe a bigger wagon, because we've got those 2 smaller Parker wagons. It would be nice to have a bigger, maybe like a Brent or a J&M wagon, just a single one, because we're trying to save money. And then if we also do buy that combine, we're going to have a separate head and corn head for it if we run 2 combines, because we can't have 2 combines with only 1 set of heads, if you see what I mean. So we're going to have to spend a little more money there, or we could just sell off the axial flow and buy a bigger combine just to have one around the farm. But after doing some thinking, I think it would be a better idea to buy a separate combine all the way. So as far as equipment goes, that is really the only thing I could think about upgrading. In terms of selling stuff off, obviously we're going to sell off the planter. We may sell off the combine, but probably not. Just figured I'd mention that. I absolutely love that combine, so we might keep it for another year or 2 and just have 2 combines. yeah, that'll definitely be what we do. If we upgrade our combine, we'll just add another one to the farm. We'll keep 2 around. That's my final decision. We'll have 2 combines on the farm instead of just one bigger one. And then also we're gonna sell off the square baler. I've done a full explanation on that. We just don't have a reason to have the square baler on the farm at all. We can do the same thing we've got the round baler for. Baling straw, we can do everything we do with the square baler with the round baler. Gosh, that was like a tongue twister, but yeah, we're selling off square baler. We already got it out of the shop, sitting in the weeds over there. I'm not even going to clean it off or nothing. I'm just going to sell it for like $50. I just want it out of my hands. And as much as twine costs, it's not even worth to keep that piece of crap around. So it's looking like we're going to be doing round bales only for the next good bit until we invest in a big square baler or something like that. And then also behind me, like I mentioned, this entire pile of junk is coming down, as well as more than likely those trees right here next up to that building. And this big grass area where the augers, the wagon, everything right here sits is going to be a different part of the farm now. So that's going to be the cattle working area. Obviously we've got the pastures to the left of me over there. We're going to be demolishing that calf shed. The calves are going to be out there in the pasture, and then we're going to have a finishing barn for when we are going to sell off the cattle. We'll feed them sweet feed, fatten them up, and sell them off from the finishing barn over here rather than a calf shed. So that's the plan with cattle. That's the plan with equipment. I'm looking at 5 different fields I want to buy now. There was just like 3 or 4. There's 5 now. They're all really in just awesome fields, and I'm going to have them in the next year or 2 at least, I promise. So we're looking at land, we're looking at equipment, and more than likely everything I mentioned is going to come true as long as the money is there. But we can obviously pay off the loan we've got right now and take out a bigger loan for fields, because the way I've got this plan working right now is we're going to take out a loan and maximize money in year 3 and just pay off the loan by summer of year 3. So this little plan I've got in action should work like a dream. I'm just going to have to wait and see, because right now I don't know for sure. I'm just going to have to keep on talking with Todd and figure out everything money-wise. But I think as soon as that clock turns over to January, we're going to be a decent-sized farm here, even more so than we are right now. I'm really thinking about just like doubling our farming operation completely. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for year 3. I've got a lot of stuff in the works, as you can hear. And then now to add even more to the story, Dalton is thinking about joining the farm in year 3 as well. So that's another hired hand, and that means whenever we do get a second combine, me and Todd can be running combines, or obviously vice versa. 2 people can be running a combine, somebody can be unloading grain and carting grain from the bins, the field, all that good stuff. So yeah, there you go. That's my plan for year 3. Hopefully that is achievable, everything. I mean, that's going to cost a good bit, but we're looking in the used market to try and find good deals. Equipment is very expensive, but so is the land. I don't know. I'm hoping we'll pull it off, because that would be amazing. But yeah, corn selling is coming up soon, probably in the next episode. So I just figured I'd kind of prepare you guys with some of the upgrades that are coming to year 3. I mean, that's just stuff that we really need to just get. And if you guys have any suggestions with stuff we should more than likely buy, I mean, it has to be reasonable. I don't think we can just pick up a John Deere X9 combine in year 3 or anything like that. But something like this field right here, if you guys want to see me buy this field in year 3 or 4, I mean, drop it in the comments. Give me ideas and stuff that would be kind of cool to see, because I was brought to the attention of like the feedlot idea by somebody in the comments. Actually kind of mentioned that, since the manure was not working on the calf shed, and I was like, well, hold on one second, we can just make a finishing barn, and that'll give me manure and a chance to use some of the corn that we get out of harvest to make feed meal and that sort of stuff. So, but yeah, field work is coming to an end in year 2. We're wrapping this year up actually a lot faster than a lot of you may realize. I mean, we're basically done right now. I mean, we just got a few more fields to plow and we're done. So we can take it really slow. Just more than likely going to be doing a lot of book work for the remainder of the year, doing end of year prices, that sort of stuff, end of year maintenance as well, cleaning equipment, and feeding cows. So that's all we've got. That's all I've got for you guys today. Even though we are going to slip into the winter time here very shortly, we are going to stay completely busy on the farm like we always do. Yeah, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you all in the next one.